there was a doctor, he's also known as the liver doc. His name is Dr. Abi Phillips. And he, along with Paras Chopra, what they did is they took 36 protein brands from the market and they tested it for different things. Some of them were like actual protein content versus label claims and many other criteria. What they found was that 70% of the brands were actually mislabeling the amount of protein that they were putting in the product.
Which means it says 25 grams, it was not 25
It
grams.
was not. It was somewhere even 10, which is crazy. And most of the brands had heavy metals, aflatoxins, even pesticides.
Oh boy.
So, and thankfully for us, they happened to pick origin also. Again, we had no idea. None of the brands knew this.
None of them. So this was a liver doctor who wanted to do an independent study.
Yes.
Took 36 brands which are famous in the market and had a criteria to check and started checking. And this is the data you're telling, right? Good.
And we passed with flying colors. We were named as the best vegan protein, best plant protein in the market. But honestly, if you look at all the criteria, if you actually go through the study and don't look at vegan versus whey, but just look at protein in general, we were definitely the best.
Okay,
So,
which means is this there in social media? This document is there in public?
Yes,
People
yes.
can verify this document.
it is published in a medical journal.
Okay.
So it is
So
very
for all the
verified.
hard work, for the problem you want to solve for your husband, where you started Origin, that was a big tick and a pat on your back, right?
It was a big take, a big pat on my back, a pat on both our backs, very honestly. And honestly, at that time, Chirag and me were going through a phase where we were feeling quite dejected and disillusioned because, we used to get a lot of questions about our pricing. Okay, so they used to say, all other brands are discounting. Why only you guys are not discounting like that? And the thing is, see, we are involved in sourcing every raw material. We do the manufacturing ourselves. So we understand the cost. And we could never understand like how are these brands discounting the whole year round? We just couldn't understand. And when the study came out, we were like, this is why. They're not even putting the amount of protein that they are claiming that
So
they're
you
putting.
need to thank liver doctor for doing the study and opening your eyes and saying that this is how this is happening.
This is how this is happening. We really did not know. And from that time that the study has come out, we have not got one question about price after
Yeah,
that.
thanks to him, right?
Yeah.
People woke up and understood why numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
now to that question, right? Label. Okay, how much can we trust a label, especially for protein, for all the products in the market? How can we trust the label?
So I always say, see, you have to look at label content versus marketing content, right? So the front of the label will always, any brand will always shout out its USPs, right? Whatever it wants to kind of put out there. And most people tend to pick up a product, look at the front of the pack and put it in their shopping bag. Always turn to the back of the pack, always, and read the ingredient list. So it depends. Each product, each raw material is put in how do I say, like in sequence. So the first ingredient is always the most raw
The
material.
percentage of maximum will be from top down.
Exactly. So always read that first, okay? And you have to understand that, okay, if there is sugar coming as number one, or maltodextrin or sugar coming in the first 2-3 items, that means, okay, you need to be careful about that supplement. So you have to learn, consumers have to learn how to read labels themselves and educate themselves and decide on their own.
So the first step is you need to understand what is there,
Yes,
understand the sequence of it so that you know the percentage of it coming in.
correct.
Now, second question based on what you told me, right? How do we know what they claim is there inside?
Yeah, so that's why it's very important for as a consumer to look for third-party certifications also. Not just me as a brand, I have sent my product to the lab to get it tested, because I can send any product, right? Any brand can send anything from their factory. It doesn't even have to be the product that they're putting out in the shelves.
So you're ideally saying what goes to a consumer might not go for testing. They might send a different batch or a different thing get the approval, put the stamp and send it
Correct.
across.
It's,
And we won't even know.
we won't even know.
Mm.
So it's very important to look for third-party certifications from independent bodies who actually buy the product from the market, off the shelves, like a consumer would do, not get the product sent to them for by the brand for testing, and actually do the testing in an independent lab.
So which means, which are the third party organizations which we can trust in the country?
So at Origin Nutrition, we use informed choice certification. And the reason why we are certified by them is that they are a UK based company. They buy our products every month off the shelf, just like you would. And they get it tested, not in India, in a lab in the UK, and they test it for over 250 plus banned substances. And they do this every month.
So it's periodically done. It's not a one-time report given.
No, exactly. And what is at the back of the label is always, see, I send it once for a testing and that I get it printed and I put at the back. But it's not periodic testing that's done on a continuous basis. So these are all the things that consumers should ask their brands. Are you getting this done? And, educate themselves.
I think we're educating a lot of people. A lot of things are going to happen after this conversation, which goes in public.